Going live as soon as it.
We're live. You're good.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. Welcome you again to another episode of the continuing adventures of the Vampires of Tar Hill by Dark. This evening's little soiree, if you will, takes place out on the docks here in Moorhead, the domain of one Enzo Puttanesca. In the picture, as we can see here, there are several small fishing vessels traversing the water here this evening. One relatively large sailing yacht that is actually is visible out in the water. That's actually not visible in the picture here. And this is the scene that Enzo Puttanesca looks out onto from the front porch of Puttanesca's Pizza there in Moorhead. His restaurant is literally feet from the waterfront. And as we pick up the scene with Mr. Ashford, actually, just outside of the restaurant, but we will get to him momentarily. We actually pick up the scene with Mr. Puttanesca. Assuming that Jake made it back. Okay, apparently he hasn't hit back yet. Alright, so scratch that. We actually pick up the scene with Mr. Ashford, who is outside of the restaurant about a block away.
Alright, well, he seems to be just walking by, kind of meditating on all this stuff that has happened, and literally how it seems to be almost every day that as soon as some feet manage to scramble onto the road, some chaotic nonsense happens, now involving possible radical SWAT influences. So he's literally toking on a rather long cigarillo and just kind of like gnashing his teeth inwardly and kind of just absorbing the area offhandedly while inwardly thinking to himself, what am I going to do about these crazy SOBs that are possibly some sort of horrible monster vampires in which I'm probably going to burn to cinders? So he'll be kind of just scanning the area around, kind of trying to notice anything, but he's a bit edgy. He's a bit wired lately.
Okay.
I think Mr. Jake got here. There we are.
And there we go. Meanwhile, in the restaurant,
Yeah, so meanwhile in the restaurant, what's going on?
all right, like I said, it's a relatively cool evening this afternoon. Relatively cool evening this evening. By the way, the vehicle that you see here is parked right across the road from the restaurant there, right there in the Well, actually, let me back up for just a second, because I know I just said that you're literally feet from the waterfront. There is literally your restaurant, a main two-lane highway that goes down the strip here, and then there's a short a boardwalk on the other side of the street, and then past that boardwalk is about 20 or 25 feet of what looks as a sandbar but it basically has been built out. The boardwalk has been built out over that sandbar, and there are parking, basically parallel parking spots alongside the road on the opposing side of on the other side of the street, or the street opposite side of the street opposite that the restaurant is on. And this car, as well as a few others, are parked there alongside along in those parallel parking spots. Um, Temperature's relatively cool this evening in the about low 50s, about 53, 55 degrees Fahrenheit, that is. Like I said, the gentleman that you were told kept wanting to speak to you. Um, he did leave a card, and basically he said that he would get back up with you this evening as far as to arrange the meeting time and place.
All right. So I go walk out on the pier or whatever, the boardwalk, and Enzo's got two like red hunks of meat wrapped up in butcher paper that he's just like carrying one in each hand, and he actually has the top of one unwrapped, and he's like taking bites out of it as he walks down the boardwalk.
And I said, there are a few people out this evening. It's not like a weekend or anything when the majority of the population would be out, but it's you both see that there's a few people out this evening. There's actually a older couple is actually seated there at one of the park benches at they're on the boardwalk. You see they're basically throwing crumbs to the pelicans that have landed there, begging for those loose crumbs.
I like watch the old people on the pelican.
Yeah. Nothing really stands out to me. It's just just a nice relatively nice moment in amongst all the chaos that this domain has been through in the past 5 or 6 months.
Since I only have like 2 humanity,
And
I look at them
behind you,
frequently.
behind you, you hear a car door squeak open. Yes, that car door. And actually, now that you turn around to look, 2 car doors. The front passenger and front driver's side doors have opened, and from side emerges Marquez, and from the passenger side emerges Andy. Marquez, you know well. Andy, you've probably only met in passing.
Okay. Yo. Nice car.
Mr. Putnaska, how are you this it's something I've had for a little while. I have a few of them, something pastime of mine, collecting them.
Me too.
I did not. Enzo, I did not know you were into didn't know you were into American muscle. I figured you were more the overseas type.
I like expensive, fast things, regardless of where they come from.
I know a man wants to like fast things. Turns out he had a racetrack. Pity, man, just sell it.
Yeah, I think I heard about that schmuck.
You know what? So yeah, I heard you I got something that you're gonna want to take a look at. 'Cause I heard
Hey,
you
are you
been
Patrick
heard.
Star?
Who the fuck kind of question is that? No, I'm not that fucking cartoon.
I don't know, man. Somebody called Patrick Star told me to meet him down here.
It's probably that damn okay one.
Well, okay, man.
Odom. It's probably fucking Odom. You know how he is about it. You know, you know, damn Malkavians and they're insanity. Anyway, come on. Anyway, come on. It's in the car. I bring it over here, but it's kind of sensitive.
Yeah, all right.
All right. As the two of you approach the vehicle, Andy, who is not even walked up, has literally just got out and leaned against the passenger door of the car. He nods. Marquez nods towards. He pops up in the right or the back driver's side door, and he motions his hand. Yep, got it. He motions his hand into the car. I think you'll pretty much be able to figure it out on your own once you look inside.
All right, so what is it?
In there is it's a book, kind of older looking book. I'll tell you out of game. This is how you're gonna get your path.
What?
Gonna get your path is off this book.
Awesome.
I heard you were looking for some. I heard through the grapevine that you were looking for some. How can I say this? Some alternative spiritual guidance.
Oh, yeah. Thanks. So what do you want for it?
What makes you think I want something for it, Enzo? We tight.
Yeah, that's true. And you owe me a lot of ones. So,
Really, Enzo? If
what?
anybody, look, if anybody owes my ass, it is. I mean, you already owe my ass as it is. You were the one that, as I understand it, you were the one that decided to drop a Tremere in the middle of the ocean, in which that fucking idiot, what's his damn name, the dead guy, I can't think of his name, fucking Ekman, thought it was a brilliant idea for me to use my boat to go get the bitch in the middle of the night.
Yeah, but I mean, think about all the awesome work I do around here. Can't tell me that dragging some soggy bitch out of the ocean equals what I've been doing around here, Marquez. Come on now. Half an evening worth of work, you got to go on a nice little pleasure cruise.
As you're cruising my ass, do you realize the swell was like 15 foot that night?
So it was fun. It was a rock and roll pleasure cruise. You like that kind of shit.
Marquez just shakes his head as Andy looks up at him and looks up to Marquez, shakes her hand as well. Anyway, there's whiskey under the bridge. But
There's
why
whiskey
the
under
fuck,
the bridge?
why the fuck are that damn cartoon character looking at wanting you?
I don't know. You said it was probably the Malkavian using that name.
It wouldn't surprise me. He's done some stupid ass shit like that before.
They said he was really, nondescript. No one could get any sort of description on him at all. So, sounds like a Malkavian or maybe an Nosferatu. But I don't think that any of those would bother coming in my shop. If they did, well, I would give them a nice meal.
And I'm sure you will, Miss Enzo. I'm sure you will. But you sure you don't want somebody to you don't want somebody to walk over there with you when you go meet the old starfish as it is. Never can be too can't never be too careful on a night in these days and nights.
Hey, I'm just gonna be walking along this boardwalk. If you and your lady want to walk along it too, I'm not gonna prevent you. I don't own it yet.
Yeah, your domain. Thought you owned this, man.
Yeah, but look at this place. It's got all these fucking places that are Puttanesca businesses all over the place. I got the pizza place right here, and then everything else, except the fish market and the fucking docks. There's all these
And see,
fucking, what is this, halal food? Who the fuck wants halal food?
though. And see that's the problem. You're right here. Why didn't you took over everything here?
Well, I mean,
What's
took
stopping
over
you?
enough. Hey, I've been busy, cleaning up everyone's shit, smashing things with some fucking crazy black guy, heathen priest.
Speaking of cleaning up people's fuck ups, if you happen to hear from Woodrow, let him know I still got that offer for him for taking out Terry.
All right.
I'm assuming he took him out. I bet everybody been saying that Terry bit the dust.
Oh yeah, he's dead.
Good fucking riddance. It's about that time your phone rings, Enzo.
It's the Baywatch theme song. He picks it up. Yo.
Pretty much, it's the staff from the restaurant that pretty much gave you the meeting location and the time. There's apparently there's gonna be a boat out on at the dock waiting for you, and they give you the dock number and whatnot, and tell you to be there in about a half an hour.
All right, so I tell him to get my guy who drives my boat and get my bigger boat, or whatever I assume will be a bigger boat, and go to that spot in my boat with Marquez and Andy, I guess, if they want to come.
All right, cool.
If not, they can just chill on the boardwalk, but I'm just going to take my boat out and try to show this guy up.
All right. Now, Nathaniel, you do see now that basically as you're making your way down down this same little road here, you do recognize that is Marquez's car.
Uh-huh. So I'm definitely gonna pull up, and it's kind of like a cartoon because he literally is briskly walking, and then he just sees the car, and he almost has this look like, who's a pretty boy, then, and just kind of staring at the car for a second, and then just kind of smiles, looks around. So I'm gonna roll my perception alertness. That would be to kind of check around, see where these people are at.
Oh, that's easy. They're still within visible sight radius.
Okay.
They're only like a couple blocks down the boardwalk here. You do recognize from the back of their heads. You do recognize Marquez and who you think is Andy, and it kind of looks like Enzo. About a couple blocks down the boardwalk.
So yeah, kind of coming in for a little bit closer look, not too much, but just kind of sneaking around a little bit.
No, I'm not even gonna have you roll for it. That's exactly who the three of them are.
Okay. So yeah, I'm kind of leaning up against the wall, just kind of casually listening to stuff. Minding my own business out for a walk.
Yep. So basically, as you're approaching, you're hearing bits and pieces of basically Marquez asking Enzo why he hasn't took over everything yet.
And at this, Nathaniel just kind of grins and he just kind of shakes his head like, honestly, you shouldn't be giving Enzo ideas, but he just, kind of shaking his head, just sort of smiling, kind of just overhearing what bits he can. And then, apparently, he hears the Baywatch theme song, and he literally has to stifle a chuckle at that. It's literally, just Enzo's zaniness is a bit distracting. That was so out of left field that it kind of caught him. So, yeah, he's just sort of literally biting his lip now, just sort of, kind of listening in. Just kind of chilling.
Andy, upon hearing that same ringtone about the same time that Nathaniel does, After ends up getting off the phone, she turns and looks to the two gentlemen. Baywatch. Marquez simply shrugs and looks back over it to Enzo speaking. I've never tried to understand a man. I just accepted him for what he is. Same thing. She shrugs, shakes it off, and continues walking along with the other two gentlemen. So that about half hour passes, and Andy has elected to return to the car. Marquez has elected to accompany you, Enzo, in this little meeting of sorts, and we advance our time up to the time that you were supposed to be meeting with this one Patrick Starr. As said, there is a not exactly a huge yacht, but comfortably sized yacht sitting there in the dock at the indicated dock space, and he has dropped out of the hangout because his internet is terrible. So
So
apologies for that, viewers. Should be back here momentarily.
yeah, let's hope. I mean, so basically, what I see is the group kind of split off, and things are just kind of carrying on. And so the pretty lady has left the group, so Nathaniel's
Yeah.
just kind of trying to advance, you know.
Yeah, you know who Andy is.
Yep,
You know Andy, or at least you recognize her.
yep.
You've seen her at council meetings at least.
Oh yeah, I definitely know who she is.
Driver's side. She gets
What?
into the
What?
driver's side of door of this car and
Yep,
fires it up.
yep. So literally, I stopped by, just kind of like looking off, almost doing a double taker because not exactly aware that her and Marquez are associating, but knowing that there must be some sort of business thing because the two have been kind of lukewarm acquaintances, but this is definitely news to Nathaniel. His mind is apparently having to assimilate a whole bunch of weirdness lately. Um, so he's going to just sort of follow the car, see where she's going, see if she's up to something, because from what Ashford's thinking, she's running some sort of business deal for Marquez right at the moment. He don't know the deal. He's just sort of, trying to be obsequious and sneaky, doing his thing.
All right. You actually do manage to follow her somewhere.
Yep.
As you do so, she pulls into what looks to be something akin to a warehouse complex.
Mm-hmm.
As she does so, she pulls up to a sliding gate. The
Mm-hmm.
car stops, and three gentlemen emerge from the gate, all three of them armed. And when I say armed, as best you can tell from distance, they're well armed. We're talking pistols, shotguns, AR-15s, the works.
Now
One of them,
these big fellas don't look menacing, threatening. They don't look like they're about to shoot the lady.
no, they just look like they literally look like guards.
Okay. And
Very haphazardly thrown together guards. They're clearly not any kind of professional association, but they do look like guards.
yeah. Okay, so basically all I'm noticing is somebody's guarding something in some warehouse over here that's some sort of big deal. So, me, I'm just going to investigate, try and be Mr. Sneaky, and just kind of see what I can piece together.
Now, you do see that there is, they apparently either have not noticed it or they didn't get around to patching it. There does appear to be a hole in the fence, a little distance down.
Oh boy, I'm definitely buffing decks and going to try and scrape on through this hole right there.
All right, update from Jake.
Yeah, I see.
Looks,
I see
yeah,
it.
he had a BS so
All right.
if he's
So
back, it'll be a while.
all right. So apologies for that, ladies and gentlemen. Our Mr. Enzo's had a technical difficulty. That being said, though, we will handle that scene if we're able to. In the meantime, we will cover Mr. Ashford's exploration here. All right. Now, as you're getting ready, basically making your way through this little hole here, the Marquez's car is drove past after about 2 or 3 minutes of one of the gentlemen standing at the driver's side window of Marquez's car. As best you can see, like I said, now it is dark and the place it is extremely low lit. As best you can see, it looks like she passed some type of a manila envelope to this guy
Mm-hmm.
before she drove by and the three of them basically walked back in with this first guy closing the gate behind him.
Mm-hmm. So some sort of payment or some sort of drop off. At least as far as my cagey little brain can piece it together. And so somebody's been paid to protect something, to shelter something, and I'm definitely going to look in on matters, see what I can find.
All right, so make me go ahead and make me some rolls here, buddy.
Okay, not a problemo. Busted the decks by one, rolled that, spending a willpower, and whoosh. Glad I did because that's 3 successes.
All right, you're able to get through that little hole there with no problem. As you break on through to the other side here,
Mm-hmm.
there is on the other side of this fence. It almost looks like a junkyard of some type,
Mm-hmm.
or like a auto parts yard, or something to that effect.
Mm-hmm.
There are, a number of old, broken up cars scattered about the place. Several hand jacks, and I'm talking like, like shop size jacks, not like the carry
Yep.
in a car to change spare with jack.
Yep.
You do see, and now here, there are several large Rottweilers around the area.
Yep. So I basically stumbled on one hell of a junkyard.
The old Bel Air, that old, black Bel Air Marquez,
Yep.
as it comes inside, it takes an immediate turn to the left and
Mm-hmm.
heads down what looks like heads down what appears to be some kind of a path.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing. This path is, scattered with various, wrecked vehicles along the sides.
Mm-hmm. So just go and try and cut across the path, try and, be my sneaky little self, try and find out what exactly the fine Duchess would be exploring in a junkyard and paying these heavily armed gentlemen to shield. Somebody left their dirty laundry out, and I'm going to see if I can find anything worth use.
All right, that's going to be a wits investigation for me, bud.
Not a problem. Investigation is... And yo. Boom. Alright, that's 2 successes.
Yeah, good little amount here. All right, you hear what sounds like metal being scraped against metal.
Mm. Metal being scraped against metal. So, is it like a kind of a...
Yeah, coming from the direction that she's headed towards.
Mm-hmm. So, she's literally trading paint with some of these old wrecks, literally trying to squeeze
No. You're pretty sure it's not coming from her.
Yeah.
It almost sounds like metal being cut.
Okay. So, yeah, gathering from that, I'm either assuming machinist shop or chop shop. I'm kind of leaning towards the latter option. So I'm gonna move in a bit closer and see what they're doing with all of these parts. I mean, I'm gathering that they're making some decent money off these old automotive wrecks and trying to package the pieces, but I'm not exactly sure if this would be worth their time to personally investigate, or if she's running an errand for the Duke. But this is me just trying to be Mr. Know Everything because that's
Oh,
my business.
that's your stick. All right. As best you start, heading back further down. You were correct. It does look like some type of a shop there that she's pulled up to. Though she has not pulled inside the shop. She's pulled up and basically parked right there alongside of it,
Hmm.
where you see that there is another vehicle. And I will pass this picture along, and I will take a quick bio break and let that sink in. That is stenciled across the back of another vehicle that's parked beside of her.
Oh boy. Oof. My dander just flew up a little. Whew. So, having seen this heathenous, blasphemous logo, my my blood just starts pounding in my ears. I just start kind of thinking to myself what possible dealings this person could have with these fiendish Sabbat infiltrators or interferers of my business and trying defilers of my property, messing with my stuff. They made an enemy for life, but I'm going to see what their business is up to. I'm going to see if there's any way I can possibly wreck shop on. But just the ideas keep tossing around in my head. What possible association could there be, and why is she paying these guys? Is it possibly for admittance or to protect something of hers? Something has definitely thickened in the plot, and so I'm just kind of doing my creeping, sneaking Batman thing.
All right,
All right,
can you hear
can
me,
you hear me,
bud?
bud? Yeah, I can hear you just fine.
All right, I
All
got
right, I
an
got an
echo.
echo. Oh, sorry.
All right.
All right.
There is a
There is
door there on the side of the building, where as she exits from the car, she heads into that door. But before she goes inside of it, you see that she pulls something out of her pocket, and now you realize that it's some type of a card. She puts it up to the door, and you hear the door audibly click as she pushes it open.
Okay. So, seeing that there's some sort of ID badge security system, the area is definitely guarded. So, the best thing I can think to do, sneaking, is all the doors kind of clicking, is make a kind of a mad dash and try and, buff my decks and just sort of slip in while she's kind of, trying to do her sneaking thing. But then again, I have the thought that there's gonna be people watching the doors, so I'm gonna be checking for like a back entrance, back exit kind of thing. Just kind of circle around for a minute.
Imagine that. As luck would have it, someone forgot to put the garage door down.
Ooh, well, pulls in their money.
Way down anyway. There's a just enough. Looks like there's just enough space that you could squeeze up under there.
So, seeing this opportunity, I'm definitely gonna get low and try and squeeze up under here and see what's going on because this is definitely getting fishy to me, and someone's affiliated with some dirty, stinking Sabat scumbags. So, somebody's in trouble. And that's gonna be Dex Athletics, or what do you need?
Yes. To keep from being heard, yeah.
Alright. Gonna boost my dex another one. So I'm on 6. Gonna spend the willpower. And whoosh. Do-do-do-do. And I'm glad I did. Woohoo! That's with the willpower canceling out the 1. 4 successes.
All
Sneakity.
right, that's gonna get you through there with no problem at all. As you roll up under the garage door here,
Mm-hmm.
inside is exactly that. It is clearly a garage, even a shop of some type. Various tools scattered around, wheel balancing equipment, toolboxes, uh, are the wall length tool racks that are hanging there, various ball peen hammers, tire irons, the works.
Yep.
And you see that there are, several tables that are set out in the middle of the warehouse with a number of different, vehicles and whatnot around. A little bit of everything, trucks, cars. There's actually an old Nissan 240SX that's sitting in the garage here, old because it still has the Datsun logo on it.
Mm.
And you see that there are several doors laying on the floor of the warehouse, all of them bearing this logo.
Mm-hmm. So I'm definitely these gentlemen kind of trying to, rearrange, re-engineer their parts and kind of, make a fair killing, trying to use this auto parts place as a front and kind of, getting up and hiding their business. So I'm going to see if I can sneak further in, see if there's any like offices or computers or anything that I can hack into, find any information about these guys without possibly getting my butt killed.
There does look like there's a few offices here in the warehouse, though to get to them you would be seen if you tried to get to them, because you now know where Andy was heading.
Mm-hmm.
As you see her step around the corner with two other gentlemen and a rather gangly looking gentleman.
Gangly like strung out on meth or more
Uh,
Nosferatu.
more almost homeless
Alright.
appearance.
Alright, so seeing that I can't possibly, get there without being seen, I'm gonna just kind of hunk around the corner, try and hide, wait for them to pass by, and, do my thing, do my sneaking once they're past, and, kind of let them have their little birth of evil.
Here's the problem, though. They're not going past. This
Mm-hmm.
is exactly where they wanted to meet. And you see, Andy and the two other gentlemen approach this, rather gangly-looking gentleman, and as they do, he stands. And boy, does he stand. He's every bit of 7 feet.
Ooh. I mean, not being a diminutive man by any means, there's a somewhat of an inner shudder because this man
Every bit
overtops
of seven,
me.
maybe 7.5.
Yeah.
And he looks, he has a homeless appearance to him, but the man is clearly, very large man. I mean, this guy's probably as big as Woodrow, if not bigger.
Yeah. At least in the height department. I mean, this guy
No, we're
is.
talking size too, height and weight both. Now that he's actually stood up.
Yeah. So, basically, what I'm gonna try and do is be as obsequious as freaking possible while kind of trying to listen in very, very carefully.
All right, I'm not going to have you roll for it. You're close enough. You can hear. As he stands upon seeing Andy step inside, he speaks. Did you secure the package? She nods. just like we talked about. Did it give you any trouble? Well, there was a little bit of an incident down over in a little bit of an incident over in Fayetteville, but we got it handled. Good. I was hoping he wouldn't be a problem. And I'm not able to really give off, the depth of the depth of his voice, but we're talking like flat F's here in his voice. His voice seems to be supernaturally deep.
Yeah. So it's kind of like a bass rumble with gravel being mixed into cement kind of thing.
Pretty much, yeah.
And yeah, so this dude is massively intimidating, and I'm just trying my damnedest to be quiet and hear all this while inwardly kind of shuddering because I don't want this guy to get a hold of me. I mean, I'm a big dude, but he's huge. That ain't fair.
She speaks. This time, Andy speaks, again pulling another object from her pocket as she hands it over to him. This almost looks to be a looks like a computer flash drive of sorts. And he speaks. I've already told you I can't use that. To which Andy replies, yeah, but they can. And besides, what kind of hunter doesn't know how to use a computer? He doesn't respond to that.
Upon hearing that, my ears definitely perk up. I'm starting to think the connections are getting kind of muddled and mingled, and maybe this hunter is being paid off by the Sabbat or some sort of overly in-depth conspiracy is going on, and I'm gonna need more evidence. But I did hear her mention the Fayetteville area. I'm just, waiting for more evidence, waiting for more detail before I can make another investigation to see what's going on here.
Anyway, everything that you asked me about is on there, and the information that I asked of you, your men have already gave to me. Payment's already been handled. That's all we needed. But I do have one question. This hulk of a man, his head turns abruptly to Andy, and almost as supernaturally fast speed, though Andy seems to be unaffected by how fast his head turned. If she's whatever it wants to be called, if it's awake, why did it not go after a bigger Camarilla presence? This man that she has described as a hunter speaks. I wondered that myself. Though now with these, what is it that you call them? Sabbat? Andy speaks Sabbat. Now that they're here, there's a connection. I just haven't put it together yet. That's why I'm hoping what you have is going to help me put that connection together. Andy speaks up. Yeah, well, an associate of mine has mentioned that you might be able to you might have some information we could use. The larger gentleman speaks. Marquez? Him, that Creole, that Cajun bastard. Andy nods as she speaks. Although I'll have you know that he's not particularly. He puts up a large front, but he's a sweetheart, really. The larger gentleman chuckles to himself. You don't know him like I know him. Anyway, he mentioned something about some another one of your people, whatever a Ventor. Andy speaks Ventru. Yeah, that he mentioned something about another one, Ventru, as you say, of your guys' people that had a. Well, he called her a toy, but apparently, from what I understand, it's more of a girlfriend that was taken by these Sabat people. Andy places her hands into the air. I wasn't there, so I'm not going to speculate, but Marquez has been known to lie before. But this, he wouldn't. This large man extends his hand. This time, as you see, as a large leather trench coat falls from his shoulders. And as he does, you see that the man simply stands here, just a simple pair of pants, no shirt on, as the coat falls from his shoulders to the floor below, to the metal folding chair he was sitting in. His back is absolutely riddled with all kinds of tattoos, tribals, or even some even looks to be arcane. And we're talking the man is now the man's every bit of 7'4", 7'5", and we're talking like Triple H style, Triple H muscular build here. He extends his hand across to Andy as she takes it and shakes it. Well, very much. I appreciate this. I'm not one for working with my prey, especially not a vampire, but maybe there's something will come of this. She nods. Indeed, maybe there shall. Yeah, I would suggest you get the hell out of here before I severely change my mind about who my allies and enemies are. She nods as she starts to take her exit with the other two gentlemen.
Alright, so having witnessed this meeting of the minds, this kind of sly dog, and this titan of a dude, this gigantic freaking colossus, I'm really glad that whatever, genetic project super monk kind of guy that they have on whatever hermetic order of lockup hunter they sent after us is apparently not very fond of Sabat. So I'm going to be doing some sneaking and getting the freak out of here while covertly making some donations to this place now, because yes, I hate Sabat just as much as this fool does. Hate him, hate him, hate him. This fool gonna die.
Do you happen to have cast no reflection as a flaw?
No, sir. That
All
is.
right. That is good to know.
Yep. That
Make
is.
me a Dex stealth.
Okay, Dex stealth. Glad I buffed my Dex Yakuza. Oh boy. Make my roll and whoop it up. And one success.
As you start to turn to head out, you're basically able to, dodge a few, working your way amongst, the various, shelves and whatnots of parts here. As you turn to head toward that garage door, you turn just a tad sharper than you meant to, as you feel your arm scrape across the top of a toolbox. As you see, quite literally, it almost looks to be in slow motion. you see what looks like a series of wrenches slide off of the top of that toolbox and pour one after the other onto the floor of the warehouse in front of you, ringing out all over the warehouse.
And I am definitely booking because this movie, this horrible freaking slow motion incident, I am getting the heck out to here as quick as I can because I know the footsteps are gonna be coming, and that freaking old does not need to be thinking that I am some sort of scary vampire that needs to be squished. So I'm going to try and do one thing.
Also, about that time, you see that there are several overhead lights, office, like the double tube office lights that you see in actual offices, start flicking on. Several, two at a time. They are rapidly popping on, heading your direction. From basically, they start from either side of the warehouse and start working inward, heading your direction.
Okay. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna be trying my damnedest to get the heck out of here as quickly as possible without these dudes knowing that I've been here, because I could possibly talk my way out of this, but I still don't want to be grabbed and manhandled by this freaking old thing they got in reserve that could possibly drown me in the face. Not good.
All right, that's going to be a Dex, and are you still trying to be stealthy? Because your cover's pretty much blown here.
Yeah, I'm basically just booking with the Dex now. Because, yeah, so, yeah, Dex Athletics, and one moment it will possibly be, because right now the magnifier on the, there we go, and rolling, and spending a willpower on this one. Woo! And I'm glad I did. That's 3 successes. Running.
Let's see what we get here. Keep in mind, this roll is going to be multiple. It's going to be the same roll for multiple people.
I understand this.
And 2, 4. Yeah, between multiple people. Yeah. You turn a corner and run literally right into one of the guards. Not the big guy, but you do run right into, quite literally, run into one of the guys. As you turn to head the other direction, one of them step out from the corner, and pretty much you end up surrounded.
Uh-huh. I literally hold up my hands, trying to look as non-threatening as possible, and really, really glad that I have high humanity right now, because I am trying desperately to appear human and just like a regular guy that, you know.
To which you notice that all the crowd of guards that has gathered up around you have pulled SMGs and are forcing you to the ground.
Yep. I don't resist. I go to the ground. I cooperate. I comply. I know they got guns pointed at my head and all.
You feel both of your arms pulled behind your back, and you feel your wrists be bound together, not by handcuffs, zip ties.
Understandable. And I'm not resisting. I'm just letting
you reach down and grab both ankles, and they do cuff them.
All right, so they've got me a pretty well Houdini escape artist right here. So I'm just doing my best, walking along, going wherever they tell me to go, because they got all manner of firearms pointed towards my vital areas.
Lead you to the exact place you didn't want to go.
Uh-oh. Okay, uh-oh. So at this point,
that same office door that you saw.
Yeah.
They lead you through that office door. To which they close the door behind you, and you hear it locked.
Mm-hmm.
as this gigantic, as you called him, titan of a man sits behind a desk. He
Yep.
bigger than the desk is, as he sits there tapping an ink pen on the desk. There is no computer in this room. There's not even really. There is a TV, but when I say it's an old TV, I mean it is an old TV. It is an old black and white 1950s style, 1950s, 1960s style television.
Mm-hmm.
It is not turned on. You see, there is a single coffee pot in here, and along the side of this office is a series of file cabinets. There are several clipboards on this gentleman's desk, and there is a single seat, not even a metal folding chair. It literally looks like an old preschooler's plastic desk chair
Yep.
that is sitting on the opposite side of his desk.
Yep.
And he himself doesn't even have an actual desk chair. He has a metal folding chair.
Yep.
As he puts out his hand, go ahead, sit down.
All right. Well, I definitely do sit down.
Dad, sit down.
I sit exactly where he tells me to sit. I'm just being as helpful as possible. Just trying to portray as non-violent, non-threatening as I possibly can, with the appearance 5 angelic beauty, just harmless, innocent, human aura, kind of high humanity, just completely trying to no-sell the vicious predator underneath the Versace suit thing. Just,
As you do so, as you take the seat, you see he pulls a drawer out of the desk where he retrieves a television remote. He points it at the TV, and what appears on the TV is a series of security camera feeds.
uh-huh.
As he speaks, I knew you were here 10 minutes before they found you.
Mm.
So I have one question. Well, make that two questions. Who are you working for, and do I need to kill you?
Well, I'm working for me against these Sabat infiltrators, these men that attacked my my paramour, my beloved, my charge, whatever term you wish to use. Um, and the reason why this struck me as suspicious, I'm just complying with your information, just giving you everything you need to know, is because the abductors had a van that had your logo on it. I thought you two were affiliated. I didn't know that you were on the other side, as it
That van, as you see, he points out of the office window where you see that there is indeed a van sitting there that's been pretty much scrapped. That they barely the only thing that's even left there, even there's barely a chassis left.
were. And I'm just kind of nodding along, agreeing. And just to make the point, Ashford is about 6'4", about 220 pounds. He is not a small man, but this guy dwarfs him, makes him look like a teenager. So he's basically like on his very best behavior, not trying to get brutally smashed and pummeled into the dirt.
You didn't answer my question. Do I need to kill you?
Uh,
And
no,
you
I'm
got
not.
right.
Um, As for needing to kill me, no, sir. I am against the same mutual enemy. I really am trying to turn my life around. I've not done anything against any particular person. I haven't done anything to harm humanity in particular. Now, I'm just hunting down these Sabat bastards that harmed my own. Perhaps you can understand that. I know you have an abhorrence for what I am. Believe it or not, I have an abhorrence of the man I used to be. I'm honestly trying to make good. I'm honestly trying to do better. And I know it's a ridiculous thing.
He leans back slightly, his fingers drumming across the desk. As you see, he looks down at the desk. He looks back up at you. No, scratch it. He doesn't. He speaks. Yeah, you managed to get past my guards and this far. So I give you that much credit. That alone keeps those fangs in your mouth this evening.
I'm just sort of nodding along, not even saying nothing, just literally agreeing with whatever the giant meat mountain says.
You see, he lifts his hand into the air, and as he snaps his fingers, you hear the office door unlocks, and one of the gentlemen steps inside. As he does, he produces a switchblade, and he nods down to your hands that are bound behind your back. The larger gentleman nods. This guard leans down and pops the zip ties, and he steps back. I'm letting you go under the pretense. If I find you in this warehouse again, if I find so much as a toenail of you in this warehouse again, and I didn't invite you here, well, let's just say you're not going to like that result.
Understood. He's just sort of rubbing his raw wrist and just sort of, honestly just glad to be non-smashed into pulp.
Now,
So,
because I'm letting you go, you have to understand you've put me into a very unique situation. I'm not giving you my name, and I do not request your name. I don't work. That's not the way I work. I don't even know the name of that bleach bitch that just gave me that computer file. I don't care to know her name. She's an asset. That's all I care about. But that being said, now that you're here, you will be an asset.
perfectly understandable. As a matter of fact, speaking of being an asset, I do have a lot of skill with computers. If you want me to take a look at that file for you, I can.
He looks up to one of the guards, who basically, as you see out of the corner of your eye, the guard simply shrugs, basically mouthing, I don't fucking know. As the tall man, who I guess that'll be what his name becomes known as now, the tall man lifts his finger and nods and points to you and to the guard. Let him do it. Find out what she put on there.
At this, Ashford looks around. Do you happen to have any sort of computer hardware in this area? You can use mine if you'd like. I just, would prefer
Yeah.
that you did it in your home base. You felt more secure, you know.
It's in the other room over there.
Okay.
Take him over. The
Feel
guard,
free to
the
absorb.
guard basically lifts you up to your feet. You notice they don't unshackle your feet though.
Yeah.
He lifts you up to your feet and pretty much ushers you into a nearby room where there's a When I say this is an old computer, this thing's running Windows 98.
Yep. Okay. So basically, I'm just, booting this thing up, listening to the words, and believe it or not, being a Victorian kind of old school computer geek, I actually have a fondness for this old bus, so I'm kind of like brushing my hand along the top of it, just, you know, pulling up chair, just kind of relaxing. Feel free to observe. I'm not going to do anything underhanded. Everything I know, you'll know.
All right. I'm not even going to have you roll for this. As you load up this flash drive, initially it doesn't work. It quite literally says that the hardware is malfunctioned. After taking it out and reinserting it a couple of times, it seems to kick in. As it pops up, what pops up is a series of file folders. Each one of them marked labeled with a different name, and they look like titles of some sort. One of them jumps out to you specifically. One file is named Grandfather.
Mm-hmm. At this, I kind of have this kind of, shudder at my shoulders, and I kind of look in on the file, see what these guys happen to know about the wolves, see what happens to be compiled here.
Nothing. Actually, this information doesn't even really, as you're reading through it nothing really, any kind, no real kind, scintillating information. It all seems to be just, basic information about, who everybody is, their chain of command, their rank structure, who that big ass fucker that was directing the meeting when you were up on the mountain is. Some guy named some Dougal Mountain Speaker is what it has listed as his name, and it has listed beside of a name lights the darkened path, and it has the word Galliard written beside of it.
Mm.
And it has question marks for various other. What you're assuming Galliard is a position of some type.
Yeah.
Because you see that there's one that says Galliard, one says Theod, one says Irune. It pretty much out of game, all of the set positions that you know from Wolf out of game
Yeah.
are all with question marks.
Yeah.
Only the ones have not that they don't know.
Yeah. Ashford has no idea what these words mean. He's just like not even raising a finger. He's just literally scanning through this information, trying to make the best of the Chinese that he's reading.
Now there is one thing does kind of jump out just a tad to you.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently there was a one of the kindred that went missing. Apparently they got him.
Mm-hmm.
Several months back, he was here all of like 10 minutes and disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
A Bruja, but the
Mm-hmm.
name is not mentioned. It just says that there is a Bruja, pretty much that whoever wrote this, you're assuming Andy, whoever wrote this just happens to know that particular Bruja was seen is up on the mountain. Either
Yep.
alive, dead, in pieces, no one knows, but they assume to be dead.
Yeah. So, upon seeing this bit of information, Ashford just kind of shakes his head. Poor bastard, never had a chance. And he just kind of keeps on doing what he's doing, kind of exploring these little file folders, letting all these big scary hunter guys look in on everything that I'm looking at.
Now, the one that big time jumps out to you is actually a file marked Car Club.
Mm-hmm.
In this file is a JPEG of that logo. Also in here is a series is a Word document that gives various addresses of various addresses. It does not say, how these people are associated with the club or anything, but it literally just gives the addresses, and it gives a second word file. Looks to be a schedule of sorts.
Hmm. So, noticing all this, I just kind of look back at them, and if you want, I can forget everything that I've seen. If this is any of
Oh
your
yeah,
men's,
you don't you will you remember nothing.
absolutely understandable. He just gives kind of a salute, like British soldier position, just and just kind of shrugs his shoulders back, gets back to work, not even saying a word, just kind of grinning, and literally zip, burp, swallowing a key.
The final photo, as you go to click on it, the computer freezes for just a split second as basically the wheel of death appears, followed by a password window.
Hmm. Now this will take some cracking. So, Ashford's trying to, think of what could possibly be the big appeal to a rock star vampire, and, rifling through the most contemporary, rock and roll music that he can think of, and, like, running through a bunch of passwords as quick as he possibly can, while making this little hacker roll.
Right.
Whatever the difficulty is with computer aptitude, it's -2, but whatever you got it set at.
All right, it's gonna be Wits computer.
All right, good, good, good. Woo! 4 successes.
Yep. And you'll never guess what the password ends up being.
Okay, Ashford literally just, as we're kind of panning around the camera, he just sort of sits back, looks at the password, this big grin on his face, like I did another one, and he's just like minding his own business, and his eyes kind of go glassy, and his jaw kind of unhinges a little bit as he looks at it, and then we kind of pan the camera back around to see what it actually is.
The password ends up being the word Prince.
Uh-huh. And Ashford's brain thing, as funny as it is, he doesn't go to Josiah. He goes to the little short fella singing Purple Rain with the one earring and the lace gloves, and he just tries not to bust out laughing and die. It's like literally this deep rumbling belly laugh, like oh my god, and then he just face palms to get himself back under control.
All right. As you crack the password. What you find looks to be voting records from the last about 10 years of the council.
Hmm. This I'm going to pay attention to, particularly.
Also in there is something very, really, that catches your eye. Apparently, in these records, if Andy wrote this, she didn't do a good job of covering this up. As you're looking through this records, there is a marriage certificate for one Marquez Levitoya and Andy Amos.
Literally, Ashford is trying not to die of laughter, but he has the most evil, cheating grin on his face now. And he's just going to log this away into his evil little brain, but he's going to remember this and know that they mean a lot more to each other now. And thankfully that Ashford's kind of on this gentlemanly code of conduct. It kind of fades into this like inner monologue scene where Ashford's holding a rapier to Marquez's throat, and he honestly, instead of stabbing it into his throat to show Ashford's indecision, he honestly helps him back up to his feet and dust him off. He just kind of like, I'm being magnanimous here. I'm not even going to go after it right now. But I'm going to remember.
As you continue reading, you find that the date is recently. It's not like 1840 or 1900 or anything like that. It's literally within the last about 10 years.
And at this, I'm literally like, my eyes have gone from, cold calculating to literally unbelievingly, there's like literal glee and mirth like flashing in his eyes right now. Just like, there's not even a level of how happy he is right now.
As you continue perusing this thing, you see that there are two thumbprints that look to be dried blood. It looks like this certificate was literally, filled out and scanned into a computer. It appears to be two brownish appearing smudges on it that look like they may have been thumbprints, and you see that there is a signature on the bottom of the document that has signed as the officiating.
And he kind of pans down and looks at this and just kind of wonder who on earth they got.
Samuel Thurston Josiah.
And literally at this, Nathaniel's eyes go as big as saucers, and he literally jaw drops, and then he recollects it, just kind of smiling almost gleefully. If his feet weren't bound, he'd be dancing a jig of joy right now. He'd be laughing his ass off. As a matter of fact, for a second there, all these hunter guys hear is this mad, hilarious laughter of, oh my god, I can't believe these people are doing these rookie crazy things.
And his laughter probably subsides when he sees who signed witness.
Mm-hmm.
Roderick Tyson.
Oh, and at the memory of that name, he just kind of shudders, like, ugh, I'm glad this bastard's dead. Quite a mess. Well, this will be fun information for later. And he just kind of looks back at the hunter that's kind of guarding him with a gun, and he's just like grinning. He's not even like terrified anymore. He's just like, can you believe this happy horse shit right here?
This hunter just literally shrugs.
Man.
Oh, and by the way, he does not have the weapon itself is not trained on you, but he's basically got it held at the low ready with his finger inside of the trigger well, ready to fire if he needs to.
Oh, and at this, Ashford just kind of smiles his most charming smile. Don't worry, I'm very well house trained. Been taking orders from everyone. The wolves, playing by whatever rules everybody else sets. So I'm gonna be a good boy.
Yeah. Also, amongst this information, you see an advertisement for one martial arts school. A school teaching the Chunduko style.
Mm-hmm.
And the school is called the Universal Way.
I'm about to say, what can give you more information on that advertisement?
Yeah. And it's located just off of, from what you guess, since you know the area, it's just off of Tuckasegee in Charlotte.
Kind of flashing back to where he received the business card. That rather jolly, big, burly gentleman they gave him the axe, and he's just like, I like this axe. This rends people into shreds. I like it. I'm gonna remember. I'm gonna remember these people.
Beside of that, okay, beside of that advertisement is written in bold, about 30-point type type font is the word caution.
Mm. Always wise. I'm not even sure what this fellow is. And I know quite a bit. So he just kind of grins and is like, yeah, caution is a very wise lesson. However, he doesn't seem aggressive or malevolent in any sort of a way, but he does seem quite powerful. I wouldn't advise tangling with that. So he just kind of shrugs and, makes his way, taking slight notes of the particular marriage license and, some of the werewolf stuff, even though it's like Chinese. He's just like, Galliard, question mark, Aberlin, question mark, a whole bunch of weird things that he doesn't quite understand. But at the same time, he's still taking notes on it. And
Yep.
you'll notice that there is literally nothing about the hunters. He's like, I'm not fucking with these people. Like, literally, no. And so he's just, kind of politely getting up to stretch his legs, just not even saying a word about being
Yep. So you
found.
went through the whole file,
Mhm.
though you went through what was on there.
Mm-hmm. Hmm. So, that seems to be that you have a very valuable informant, at least. Even I didn't know some of this. He's just kind of making a little chit chat with the guard and then just politely spreading his hands. Trust me, none of this will ever leave my lips.
In fact, you're right. It won't ever leave your lips. As you see the guard lift the butt of the SMG and strike you hard across the forehead.
All right. Gonna go ahead and roll silk if I possibly can.
Okay.
All right. Not saying that I won't go down. I'm gonna go down, but fortitude's kind of
You go down. You go down.
yeah. Yeah. 3 successes on that.
Yeah, you soaked it. You soaked it, but he's pretty much put you prone.
Yep.
You see, as he reaches into his coat, and you see he produces what looks like a chair leg.
Uh-huh.
And you know where this is going from here.
Uh-huh.
Alright, so it's going to be a difficulty 9 to hit him in the chest.
Yep.
And he just misses you
Oh
as
boy.
this hunter speaks. You know, we don't have to do it this way. You could just lay the hell down.
And he definitely does lay the hell down.
So, yeah, you feel yourself staked. Now, keep in mind, vampires are aware of everything that goes on around them while staked.
Uh-huh.
About 5 minutes pass with you pretty much laying here in the floor of this warehouse. As you see, or you basically can tell that the tall man has reappeared.
Uh-huh.
And you feel his hulkly presence
Yeah.
over you as he basically goes to his knees and straddling you. He produces a pair of scissors as with one hand, he opens your jaw. With the other hand, he reaches the scissors into your mouth and begins to cut your tongue from your mouth.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Quite painful. So I'm not protesting, I'm not saying a word.
Yeah, you're staked.
Yep.
You gotta take this.
Yeah. So literally he's just sort of went into his little hurricane room while being tortured and having his tongue moved.
Yep.
You know, ripped out.
About a couple minutes pass, and again you feel yourself get moved. This time into what looks like you feel yourself get moved, and you feel your limbs get pulled apart as you feel them be bound, almost like chained. Then you feel them get pulled apart, almost as if you're being crucified, but you can tell you're not.
Mm-hmm.
You then feel the stake removed. As you are awakened, you find that they have pretty much chained you to a car lift.
Ow. Ow. Ow.
They're not pulling your limbs apart. They basically just have them, pulled out,
Yeah.
Da Vinci Man style.
Yeah, been true. Gotcha.
Yeah. As Tall Man speaks, this time the stake, as he speaks as he's pulling out the stake. As I've said, you will be my agent. And you are right. You will speak this to no one else. As you see, this tall man holds the tongue up to you where it is visible to your eyes. He walks up to you and quite literally puts the piece of the tongue that he cut from your mouth tucks it into your shirt pocket as he pats the pocket. Get him down, boys. He's not going to do anything. They do so. He takes his leave, and they abruptly escort you out of the warehouse.
Mm-hmm.
Where Marquez's car is not there.
Mm-hmm. So, seeing as I'm definitely smarting from being staked, even though I do a pretty good job of taking damage, I'm feeling okay. I'm not feeling 100% though. I'm just kind of like, you know, that was a little bit brutal. But then again, I think about where I just escaped from, and I go back to the crucifixions, hunting pagans and burning people, and all manner of horrible things that these people could have done to me. And I just kind of shrug, keep on walking, and I move the heck out of here.
Now you notice though that the wound on your tongue, it was not, they didn't try to cauterize it or seal it shut or anything. They simply left it as an open wound. So you can try to heal it.
Oh, I plan to heal it, but I plan to heal it after I get the freak out of here because these people are scary.
Okay. Cutting people's tongues out. Yeah, you're able to get out of here with no problem.
All right.
Almost like they want you to leave.
Yep. I mean, guy that can sneak in past the guards, hack into some sort of scary, even by vampire means, security. Yeah, they want me to be gone. They want me out of there. So, yeah. and I'm going to try and heal my tongue, but I'm just going to, walk by Alice's apartment, kind of petting the gigantic mastiffs, kind of glad that those are out there, and just kind of, shrug out of my clothes and just kind of like, ugh, I can't believe the manner of trash that I get into. So the role for healing
Go for
healing the tongue would be what medicine?
That's gonna be
Wait, I
probably.
thought restoring limbs was just part of the
Oh yeah,
process.
I'm thinking of in combat.
No,
Sorry, my bad.
you should just burn. Just use the blood.
It
Yeah,
just, I'd say that's well, if it's a lethal, it's just a normal wound. So,
yeah.
blood and take a little time and your tongue's back.
Yeah. If
So
nothing else, I mean, you could hunt to get it back. I'm not going to require a hunting
Yeah.
roll, but I
yeah,
mean, you could hunt enough to recover that loss.
yeah.
Mhm.
So literally scanning down at the tongue in the pocket and just sort of thinking, well, could have been much worse, and just kind of yet again logging all this away inside his own head, just kind of you know, writing this all down in Alice's laptop as far as the notes on what he's figured out on the wolves. He's not going to write anything on the hunters because he actually does have a sort of honor. But, you know, actually he's going to try and forget as much as he knows about them. So he'll be fighting against his spy-like nature to retain information. It's like, screw that. No. All right. And the one happy bit of epitrobe that Ashford has found out about this evening is apparently he's not the only one getting rather close to his toys. So he just kind of shrugs at Marquez's hypocrisy being slightly worse because, I mean, he's a vampire. He doesn't even have the normal range of emotions. It's like, literally, the compulsion for food and sex is like merged. There's all manner of weirdness, so he's just like literally shaking his head, like, ugh. And then just curls up in bed, like, what the hell has my life become? Apparently, being beat up by wolves, being beat up by hunters, and dealing with this weird shit. Okay.
And we bring the scene to a close as the full moon rises over Tar Hill.